This is Roger Struckoff at day 2 of CloudEXPO. I'm sitting here with Steve Connor from Cloudistics. He spoke today at one of our big sessions about the idea of getting the benefit of public cloud on your own sort of private cloud without having to put up with what you don't want to put up with it. I'll leave it that way. Welcome, Steve. What did you talk about, and what would you like to talk about now?
So today in the speech we were talking about getting the benefits of public cloud and doing it on-prem. So we were really focusing on how to get some of the attributes that you would expect from an Amazon, Azure, Google, and doing that on-prem. And we believe today that you can actually get those types of things done with certain architectures that are available in the market today.
Yeah. What kind of customers, I mean, this sounds like this is something that could potentially appeal to almost any type of enterprise of any size?
Yeah, so we see this coming into almost any enterprise. A lot of the big companies have built their own, so they're doing a lot of OpenStack deployments and things like that. So we're seeing this being kind of I would say a large enterprise to even smaller business footprint. And if you design the architectures right, you can meet that entire breadth of that market space.
What are some of the issues that you can provide that people may not be aware of going down the path that you can take them down? There's benefits they may not be aware of, I would think.
So a lot of times what a lot of these companies aren't aware of is they don't know that they need things like multi-tenancy. So that's an interesting one. We get into a company, I was dealing with a bank, and they were using infrastructure. They were thinking about going to Amazon, and they were looking at that. And we talked about that particular capability, and like, oh, I could use it for this, this, and this, and they just never considered that particular attribute as something they could leverage in the bank. So those types of things pop up as we present those cloud-like architectures to these enterprises.
You guys are based in the Washington, D.C. area. Does that influence like what customers you have, or is it not really that important? It just happens to be where you are?
I mean, we live in Washington, D.C., so I would say that it doesn't necessarily influence the customers per se, but we do have the largest customer in the world in our backyard, so we do tend to service the federal government a little bit. It does influence some of our design decisions because we need the platform to service certain security constraints that the federal government's going to put on us, but outside of that, we're just East Coast guys and have an East Coast role. Yeah.
That's how we roll. Security, that seems to be important.
Security in any platform today is of paramount importance. And if you're going to deal with banks or the governments, even state and local governments, you don't want to be that poster child that's gotten hacked and is given somebody an architecture that's ultimately front page news. So we are thankfully working with the federal government, and they help us keep it super secure, but it's got to be part of the design criteria.
I forget how long you've been around and what the original vision was.
So this company's been around for 5 years. And we've been actively moving the product for 2. The vision came out of an exercise where we actually moved into Amazon, recognized the bill structure, and realized that we had to do something a little different. Just too much money was being spent.
That's wonderful. Now, where are you going? More of the same?
When we did that experiment, we had just sold a business. The owners had sold a business, and were instructed that they had to go to the cloud. And the CTO is a PhD in computer science, figured he could do it better using OpenStack, realized that OpenStack was not the right avenue, and that gave birth to Cloudistics.
There you go. How do they find you? Cloudistics.
Cloudistics.com. So it's as simple as that.
So you can read it on a shirt. It's right there, Cloudistics.com. Thanks a lot for joining us. It was great today. Your presentation will be up at the website sometime too. We recorded that, you were like, so you got recorded twice.
Awesome.
Great stuff. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching for Syscon TV. This is Roger Struckoff.